What the mainstream media was afraid to tell you about the news this week. While the mainstream media refused to air the presidential press conferences on COVID-19, here are the things that happened that really matter. Face masks do work. Face masks are effective in slowing the transmission of respiratory viruses like COVID-19. The CDC and the World Health Organization lied to you when they said that face masks don't work. In fact, Dr. Fauci admitted the reason they told you not to wear a mask was to save the supply for medical providers. In other words, public health officials lied to manipulate our behavior and lied about science, which says that face masks do work, which means we should all be wearing them. But did the mainstream media report this to you? No. In fact, still to this day, even after the CDC and the World Health Organization have been called out for their lies, the mainstream media is still propagating the lie that masks are ineffective. No hospitals in the United States have actually run out of ventilators due to COVID-19, at least up until this point. The DNR rumors do not resuscitate, and the reports of rationing and giving ventilators only to patients who are young, that is fake news. In fact, the Navy hospital ships UNS Mercy and Comfort have less than 20 patients a day, days after the media hysterically reported that they were needed immediately. But did the mainstream media report the truth about this? No. The mainstream media reported projections of overwhelmed hospitals as if they are current reality, which they are not. And the mainstream media actually mocked the U.S. Navy ships for only taking on non-COVID-19 patients, even though that was the plan all along. Dr. Fauci said we can start relaxing social distancing only when there are no new cases or deaths from COVID-19. Think about that. We were told 2 weeks, and then we were told 2 months. But the man advising the president admitted that he wants social distancing until nobody is contracting the virus or dying anymore, which is crazy both economically and because social distancing is not supposed to stop the spread of the virus. It's just supposed to slow the spread. Even with social distancing, everybody is still expected to contract the virus. But did the mainstream media report on the serious discrepancy in what Dr. Fauci is saying compared to the reality of how distancing does not stop the virus? Nope, the mainstream media did not say a word. Thousands of healthcare workers are furloughed across the nation. That's right, healthcare workers are losing their jobs. 700 in Cincinnati, 700 in Boston, 500 in Kentucky, 400 in Connecticut, 200 in Kentucky, et cetera, because states are mandating that private practices cancel non-essential surgeries at hospitals. But did the mainstream media report on the unintended economic consequences of these government-mandated lockdowns? That the healthcare industry will be hurt too? No, the mainstream media barely mentioned that. The St. Louis Fed predicts that due to COVID-19, the unemployment rate in our nation may hit as high as 32.1%, which is 7% higher than the worst unemployment rate during the Great Depression. The Fed says up to 47 million Americans might lose their jobs. That means 67 million Americans are currently in jobs that are in high risk of layoffs. But even as nearly 10 million Americans filed for unemployment in just 2 weeks' time due to the economic standstill from the government lockdown, did the mainstream media report on this dire prediction of a depression from the Fed? No, the mainstream media barely even reported it. The mainstream media does not care to report any of that to you, so we will.